We had the best women's slam semifinal day in years yesterday. First, Karolina Muchova fighting back from the brink of defeat against Aryna Sabalenka in a 3-hour plus thriller before world number one Iga. But does Muchova have a legit shot at taking the title? I'll break down this match before giving my prediction of who I think will raise the coupe Suzanne Lenglen here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today. 43rd ranked Muchova didn't really have a lot of time to work her way into form this tournament as she drew 8th seed Maria Sakkari in the first round. She then beat 27th seed Aryna Begu in round 3 before earning her biggest scalp of the tournament over Aryna Sabalenka, where she saved a match point down 2-5 in the third set. The match with Aryna was definitely the best women's match of the year thus far, in my opinion at least. Karolina played the match of her life in those first two sets, and Aryna did have opportunities to grab that first set, but Muchova was simply too solid. The tiebreaker was especially impressive to me, just how she was both able to hang in there in the rallies with Aryna from the ground and hit some incredible shots of her own, but just also her athletic ability and her being able to track down so many balls and ultimately force a lot of errors from Sabalenka's racket. Muchova seemed in control of much of the second set, especially early on, and I really thought that the match was hers, but Aryna raised her level a bit higher while Karolina kind of started feeling the moment, and then she also started to struggle physically. Of course, Sabalenka went up 5-2 in that third set, and she held a 30-love advantage in that game, and she had a match point, as I of course mentioned, which Muchova saved. Aryna honestly just totally imploded after she was unable to close out that game, and ultimately she lost the last 20 of 24 points of the match to hand Muchova the biggest win of her career. I low-key thought that this was Sabalenka's title for the taking. She'd been playing so well, and honestly, she'd been playing the best tennis of the tournament to me up to this point. I was shocked, just completely shocked at how Sabalenka crumbled at the end. And it wasn't like Muchova was playing unbelievable tennis. She was cramping, matter of fact. But she just mainly got the balls back in play, and she waited for Sabalenka's mistakes, which came in bunches towards the end. The most profound thing to me was that 5-all game when Aryna was up 40-15, and she just served 2 wild double faults in a row and ultimately gave Muchova the break advantage to ultimately serve for the match at love. That reminded me of her chokes at the 2021 and 2022 US Opens, where her game just went downhill and she missed nearly almost every ball, and her opponent really didn't have to do much other than put the ball in the court. And I was proud of Aryna, especially with how she fought. And I literally had a tweet ready to congratulate her and give her her 10s because, she overcame so much with her serve, and then also her, mental, issues, and having the belief and confidence to ultimately win these big titles. And just for her to crumble like this, it was very disappointing. And it just shows that, she hasn't totally exercised all her demons. She just had a lot of things going on in her mind, from people expecting her, or her being a legitimate favorite to win Roland Garros, which is a difficult slam to win. Possibly, I know I'm delusional in saying this, but a calendar slam prospect was on the horizon too. And then also she just had that, off-court things with her being questioned by the press and about the whole Lukashenko thing in the Ukrainian Russian war. So it was just a lot of stuff for Sabalenka. And I feel like with that, and then combined with the pressure of the moment, she just totally collapsed at the end. Looking at the positives for Sabalenka, she still has a relatively solid shot at reclaiming the world number 1 ranking by the end of the year at least. And then also she revealed in her press conference after the loss that she has her UK visa, so she will be competing at the Wimbledon Championships after missing last year. Grass is probably her favorite surface, so she'll be a strong title favorite there. So hopefully this loss won't impact her too much. I am worried. I don't know. But I think Aryna is a fighter, and I think that she will eventually come out of this on top. Now, focusing back on Muchova, I was just completely astounded and impressed by her fight and her mental fortitude, which was incredible. She fully deserved that win, and she simply wanted it more and did what needed to be done in order to get the W. I'm just really happy that she's here having this moment, because she's dealt with so many issues and injuries that have really plagued her and have prevented her from, maximizing her potential and being in this big stage, which she deserves. Thinking back to last year, she suffered a horrible ankle injury in her third round match with Anisimova, and even before that, she was forced to miss the 2022 Australian Open a year after she made the semifinals there down under in Melbourne. So it's just great to finally have her back healthy and doing what she, deserves to be doing, which is having these big moments. A lot of people now did think that Muchova would be unfit to compete in Saturday's final, but she did say in the press that she was simply tired in the final stages of that Sabalenka match, and she dealt with minor cramps, but amidst all that, she played really just great tennis, solid tennis to close out that match. Now, focusing on Iga's form, she has yet to drop a set this tournament and has faced two-seeded opponents in Coco Gauff and Beatriz Haddad Maia. Iga didn't play great against Coco, but she upped her level tremendously against Haddad Maia, and she needed to because the Brazilian played some outstanding tennis. I was very impressed with Haddad Maia this tournament and how she played and fought so hard against Iga, especially when you consider how much tennis she's played, in the matches prior to this one. She took it to Swiatek and applied consistent pressure, hitting shots that would have been winners. She just showed why she's the world's best player. She makes you really work for just about pretty much every point. Iga and Karolina have played one time before, and it was on clay at the Prague Open, which Muchova took in straight sets. Keep in mind, though, that this was over 4 years ago when Iga was a completely different player. Muchova is a better player now too, but especially gotta emphasize how different of a player Iga is now compared to then. Now, it'll obviously be much harder for Muchova to beat Iga again, but I do think that she has an advantage in a few departments here. For one, Muchova has the best serve out of anyone that Iga has faced thus far, even Coco. She notched 6 aces past the Belarusian Sabalenka in their semifinal match, and she maintained a first serve percentage, first serve points won, and second serve points won percentage of 60 or higher in all three of those departments. I think that she definitely needs to make sure that she go for more on her second serve too, because as we saw with Coco and Bia, Swiatek will be on top of that second serve and will take full advantage. Karol also thrives in these moments. She is a big match player and she plays well against the top level opponents. She's actually never lost against a top 3 player, and she's 5-0. Muchova's backhand slice can also be a weapon here to really throw off Swiatek's rhythm and perhaps even draw her, into the net where she's not as comfortable right now at the moment. Sometimes she looks like a fish out of water up there. But like I just said too, it can also throw off her rhythm. I feel like a lot of Iga's opponents are kind of one-dimensional, whereas Karolina has the ability to play a couple different ways. She can be aggressive and more imposing, and she can also kind of step back and just be consistent and try to extract errors from her opponents, which I think would be an asset here because Iga has had her moments where sometimes she's off and error prone, but just a lot of times her opponents cannot take as much advantage of that. Karolina's coming into this one playing the best tennis of her life, and I truly do think that the match against Sabalenka was the best match that she has played in her life. Now, will she be able to sustain that level against Iga? I honestly don't know, because honestly, to even beat Swiatek, she'll probably have to play even better than she did against Aryna. So it's going to be a pretty big ask for her to raise her level to perhaps a height that she's never even experienced herself playing on the tour. Now, on another note, Iga does have the pressure of being the overwhelming favorite here. There shouldn't really be any pressure at all on Karolina because she isn't really expected to win, and she even acknowledged that in the press. There's also the added factor of Swiatek has yet to win a really big title this season. She hasn't won a 1,000 level title or higher since New York, when she won the US Open, so that would definitely be on her mind. She has lost a couple of big finals previously, Dubai, Madrid, so the pressure's going to be on for her a little bit, even though she literally is only 21 years old and she already has 3 Grand Slams. Another area that Muchova can look to take advantage of is Iga's serve. Iga has not really served her best in the previous rounds, and really Bia and Coco had a lot of opportunities to break, and sometimes even they didn't cash in on all their opportunities. And I feel like Muchova, she has the opportunity. She's a very good returner. A lot of times she was teeing off on Sabalenka's first serve, and Sabalenka, as we all know, has a very solid, fast first serve. So if she can do that on Sabalenka's first serves, without a doubt, she can do that on Iga's, first and of course second serves, and she can obviously apply pressure on Iga's serve, and that can be really big for her in the long run in this match. Against Sabalenka, she was 5 for 5 on her breakpoint opportunities, and she needs to make sure that she still is opportunistic against Iga. And it's easier said than done because Swiatek is just so good at playing the big moments correctly. We saw that with Bia. Bia only broke 2 times, but she had a lot of opportunities to really do more than that. And really, she should have won the second set with how many opportunities that she had. But that pressure that Swiatek imposes on opponents makes it difficult for them to really take advantage of opportunities, because they know that if they don't take advantage, then it's pretty much curtains for them. And then finally, something that Muchova can take solace in is knowing that maybe she can fulfill the Czech prophecy of, being unseeded like Barbora Krejcikova was in 2021. Krejcikova, she was unseeded, as I just mentioned, and she saved a match point in the semifinal against Sakkari then, and then she ultimately won the title. Perhaps the same thing could be in store for Muchova. It can take a lot of pressure too off a player when they're coming into a match, when the previous match they were so close to losing, and it's like they're playing with house money. So hopefully Muchova can come in here with that mindset, just, play relaxed and just have fun, really. Now, shifting gears a bit, a major reason of why it's so difficult to beat Iga is that she's solid in literally every aspect of her game. Her forehand is world class and perhaps the best forehand right now on tour. And then her backhand is also just very, very solid. Both of her ground strokes, in my opinion, are better than Muchova's, which gives her a major advantage right there off the bat. As I alluded to earlier, Muchova's backhand slice is an asset, so I say that shot, her serve, and her net game is what she has over Iga, but really not by much. Iga's biggest advantage coming into this one is just her experience in being in a slam final 3 times before this one. She's been there, done that, while Muchova, she's never even played a 500 level plus final. Both of her 2 finals were 250s. So this is a big step up. This is a big moment. And, we don't know exactly how she'll react in these pressure moments. And we could even have an Alcaraz situation on our hands where Muchova cramps up due to the pressure of the moment. But it is a good sign that she came out and played unbelievable tennis against Sabalenka in that semifinal, which was her previous biggest moment or biggest match of her career. So, maybe she can come out and do one better here. Now, Iga does have much more than tank than Karolina, which will be a huge advantage for her. She's rarely been pushed physically during this tournament and, hasn't yet dropped a set. Whereas Muchova, of course, she was struggling a lot physically towards the end of that Sabalenka match. There's a question mark of, will she be able to recover in time for this final? She'll have about a day and a half truly of rest. Will that be enough for her? And we already do know that she is kind of injury prone too. So with all the tennis she's played, I don't think she's even used to playing this much tennis, 6 matches in a row, 6 matches in 13 days. So I don't know how her body will react here. It'll be interesting. Now, if Muchova can find a way to push Iga into a deciding set, I think that she might have a better chance of winning, actually, because Iga has not been in a position this tournament of being pushed into a decider. It's different. Muchova knows how to handle the ebbs and flows of that final set, at least in these 2 weeks. And Swiatek hasn't experienced that in a minute. So that's something that maybe Muchova can, put in her back pocket somehow. If Muchova is on her game, she has the potential to win a set and maybe even the match if she sustains that level and if Swiatek is kind of off her game. However, it'll be difficult for Karolina to just win points against Iga for the most part because the Pole's defense is perhaps the best in the game. Aryna is a decent mover, but she's no Iga, which means it'll be an even more physical affair for the Czech. The issue lies in the lack of energy Karolina potentially has coming into this final, and Iga will make her use a lot of energy because it's just so difficult to win points against her. For all of these reasons, I'm backing Swiatek to take this match in straight sets to win her 4th Grand Slam title. That's all I have for this preview, and let me know in the comments whether you agree with me having Swiatek take this match in straights, or if you think that Muchova will put up a good fight and perhaps win her first major title. Make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post my post-match thoughts on this one. Thanks for watching. I'm Christian Basnight, and I'll see y'all next time here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.